everybody, it's Januari of Bonsai Studio. Today I wanted to talk about this tree. Why this tree? In January I worked on this tree when it was still in a training spot for the BAB, and I told the people I would keep this tree to show them how fast and how nice cork oak can develop, because they grow really fast if you do it in the right way. So I will tell a little bit about the story when I was styling it and stuff like that. Here was still apart quite long like this, and the tree was in a different position, more like that. Okay. So what I've done then, we flipped it a little bit to the left side to get some nice movement into here. And here was a piece like that, and we chopped it off because here was a cut, and here were only some branches, and then you had a straight trunk, and then you had some foliage over here. So what have we done was we cut the unnecessary branches, and that's also what we're going to do today, because all the growth is going with its energy to the points where we also have cut. So points like here, where you don't need any branches, we can cut off as well. Here as well, because it's nice to see some trunk movement, and not only trunk movement, like here in the inside corner, there was a branch, and like if you follow the rules, it's not necessary to have a branch over there. So you can cut it over here. Also, what I've done afterwards, after the styling, because we styled it, and here was the first branch we made, and this tree is still in the beginning. First, the branches still need to grow out and stuff like that to get the correct size, and this is the first branch. So this first branch has to grow a lot. So we will use a sacrifice branch over here. Then we have some back branches, and I like to use like two branches to make some branches out of, to make one foliage cloud out of one. After that, when they develop more, and you will have a beautiful branch and a beautiful branch structure, you can decide which one you can keep, the one that fits the most, okay? So after the demonstration, I made the design. We made the design, and then after the demonstration, I think more or less 1 month ago, it was time to repot it. So we left the core by itself, and we put it in this position. It still needs to change maybe a little bit, but this is just a training spot. So the tree will develop and change over time as well. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to get rid of all the shoots that I don't need, because this is the first branch, and here are a lot of new branches that come out of or shoots that come out of the wrong place, so we can cut them. And because the tree has grown so well, because the repotting was done quite nicely, I decided it was time, because the tree is healthy enough, to cut it so all the energy can go to here, because now all the energy is going to here. So yes. Also, when you have things like that, you can cut it until one leaf when they're growing up. And then you also need to already decide your branch structure, because if you have something like this, you have to think like a miyogi. And if you have like a miyogi, then at the first corner, the first branch comes, at the second corner, here branch comes, and then here. With this one you have to do the same, and I already did during the styling of this tree. We made some movement into it, and then we decide which branch we can use where. And you also need to decide where the branches are going to, and what their direction they will grow. Yeah. So here the first corner is starting, so this would be a nice branch that we can grow out to there. So then you have another branch over here, and that branch we can cut. Because it's too much and it's better to work clean. Here we have one that's growing underneath. Because it's growing underneath, we can cut as well. Then in this corner we have this one that makes a beautiful branch out of here. And here's one that grows straight up, so you can cut it until 1 or 2 leaves. And maybe a new branch from beneath will grow. And you also get like more dimension into it. Here's also one that's growing from beneath, so we can cut it over there. Also what we can do is leaves that grow down, we can directly remove. And here you see, here are shoots, and as long as you don't see a bud on it, the shoot is still growing. So if you still see a growing shoot onto it, you can keep letting it grow. From the moment that you see a bud on it, you can, and you still want that the branch is going to grow, then you can cut the bud, and then another shoot will grow. Okay. Also you can make a selection, because here there are quite a lot of old leaves. And some they block the light, so you can, the ones that grow down you can remove, and you can select a few ones to get more air and light into it. And the one that don't have a beautiful color, etc. So going to have a look. You also always have to have a look. Like as you can see here, now you have a beautiful movement, and as well something that looks like a nice line into it. So a nice plateau. Places where I think still branches can make have a nice position, I'm going to let them in this position, because maybe in future they still can be possible to need, or maybe we can cut them. So while I'm going up, more up, I'm going to select more branches that we don't need on every branch, and that you work from the bottom and you work your way on to the top. Always cut the branches that comes from this point, because you always need to see the beginning of the branch. This branch and swell, I'm going to clean shoots that are growing down. And I'm going to let one of these grow out, so this branch will become bigger, and as well this one as well, because it's necessary. I'm not going to wire everything at this moment because the shoots are still young and I just want them to grow, and then afterwards I can wire them in the right position. This one's in the inside corner, so we can cut as well. This branch is beautiful over here to make a foliage cloud, maybe over here, maybe one here and one here. Here I had cut a branch, but I left a small stub because I wanted to have maybe an accentuation branch over here. Because why? The nice movement of this tree goes like this, and this is a movement I want to accentuate. So if we accentuate it here and we make a picture frame with foliage, like here, then we see all the interesting parts of the movement. And sometimes you have to hide some small parts. So here's an interesting branch that we can use in the future, and maybe here as well. We will see. It's always interesting to make different choices. So my point was showing the people of the BAB what a nice species this is, and they grow perfectly here in our climate, and they're just fun to work with. You have quite a lot of work with them, with cutting them back and making adjustments, like setting the branch structure every time, but that's just a fun part about bonsai. It's also very important to let this one grow. This too much, so we can cut this one. We maybe can use for here. Once it's growing downstairs, we can cut as well. Here's one in the back we can use for a back branch again. This one was pretty strong growth. I want this energy to go to here, so that's why we need to cut. one is starting to grow nicely. So here you can see the result from now of the Quercus super. I'm going to show you close the branch movement and everything and what I cut away. So we're going to start with the first branch, and here were a lot of shoots, and all those shoots I cut away because all the energy needs to go to this branch. And this shoot, here you can see there's no bud, but you see a shoot. That means that it will always start growing until you see the bud. And if it still needs to grow, you can cut the bud and a new shoot will take over and it will grow again. But because these are still growing, I can let them grow out freely. What I've done is, here you have the joint, and the joint you always have to see the sort of start from the trunk to the first branch. So this is the primary branch, and this one needs to get bigger. And then your ramification needs to come from a branch here, then one here, one here, one here, one here, etc. I left some on to fill it up so you could have a nice view, because if you see this already looks like a nice foliage cloud, and sometimes the eye also wants to see something. What I've done as well is I've made movement down, up, down, up, down, up. This is also very important to make it an older looking branch instead of going down and then straight, so that it goes straight. So I've got these one, like this one was heading straight up. So I have cut it until one or two leaves, because here at the back sleeping bud will grow, and it will give a branch in that direction because we need it. In future, these we can cut. Here are some also other branches that we maybe can use in the future. So this one to go in the back and stuff like that. This branch I also wanted to show because this will be a very important branch because it gives the balance to the tree. And this we made a movement very close to the trunk and exactly almost with the movement of the trunk. And that we did because then you will add like a picture frame, because this is a very beautiful movement, as you can see. And these branches we're going to use as well because this is a nice movement. And when you put a picture frame with that branch and this branch and those branches here, you point out the most interesting movement of the trunk. So, but as you can see, here's the first corner, and we have a branch over here. This branch can grow out and we can use it as a foliage cloud over here maybe. And this one will be in the back to give some depth. This one can go here and maybe we can use it over here. Yeah? So that could be quite interesting. Then the apex still need to grow in future because it needs to get bigger as well. This one maybe can go to the front as well. This one needs to grow a little bit more, and this shoot needs to grow a lot because we need to create taper, because here was, here was a very long straight part. And because it was a demonstration, didn't have a lot of time, so I did a little bit of that woodwork. Next year when the tree has stayed very well in the pot, I can, and is very tight in the pot, I can work on this some more because it needs to get thinner, some more depth needs to go into it. So, but this point here where the new apex is created, we need to create taper. And with Quercus super this is possible because they grow very fast. So I hope I can show you this tree in some other episodes as well, so we can develop it into a nice tree. And this was it for so far. Thank you very much for listening. See you until the next episode. Goodbye.